Welcome back, family, to another episode of the Truth Be Told podcast, where we tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us, God. In this episode, we're going to be discussing some Black history as it is Black History Month, right? Right. 1 second. Let me just check my notes. I think I'm missing something. One moment. It was just here. Hold on. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth, right? Truth be told, we've been learning about Black history all wrong. Now, we could discuss how that's been intentionally done so, but we won't be discussing that today, right? Let's stay on topic. As always, I've handled the research for you, so let me clue you into a few things that we've gotten all wrong about Black history when it comes to learning about Black history, and more specifically, when we're teaching it to the youth where we have missed a step. Whether intentionally or unintentionally, we're going to clean this mess up and get to the bottom of it so we can start to teach appropriately, okay? So, first things first. Number one, Black history is such a vast, immense part of history and culture that it can't be reduced to simply a month, right? We all get that. So that's the one thing where we go wrong in teaching and learning about Black history. We have reduced it to 1 month of learning when, let's be honest, everyone else is studying us year round. So why shouldn't we? Okay. We're meant to study ourselves just as much or more than other people and cultures have done in the past and currently to this day. So, number one, Black history should be taught and learned all year round. You can incorporate this in many different ways, as many different things have been created, invented, and done by Black people. As we know, we've contributed so much to history that cannot be condensed down to 1 month. That is utterly disrespectful. So try to incorporate learning more about Black history and our contributions to society as a whole in a number of different ways, not just the ways you were taught, right, in school, okay? Secondly, Black history is often taught from the Black African American scope and lens, right? When that's not the origin of our story, right? If you want to know the real history of something, the true nature of a people, place, or thing, specifically culture, you definitely want to go to its origin point or origin story, okay? Where do we originate from? Definitely not in the Americas for some of us, right? That's only part of our story. This is done intentionally to cut us off from our roots, okay? So we don't remain firmly rooted in our true culture, our lineages, and the beautiful royal history we hail from, okay? So, as I said, this is definitely done intentionally to separate us all, okay? They certainly can't have us all united, understanding that we are all one, hailing from the most royal, richest bloodline there is, okay? They can't have us understanding that whether you come from Africa, Jamaica, Haiti, America, wherever you are within the African diaspora, they don't need us knowing that one, we are one, and two, that is our history that they so study, right? They can't have us understanding that they revere us so much, study us so much that they have placed our culture on the back of their dollar bill. What we must come to realize is we must do our due diligence in studying these things further. We can't rely on outsiders to inform us, okay? Truth be told, that's what's been going on this entire time. We have allowed others to try to school us on what is our own, our history, our culture, our language, our lineage, all the things we hail from within the African diaspora. The Africans have a saying, only a fool would allow their enemy to teach their children. and expect that to go well. So we mustn't rely on outsiders of the culture to teach us about ourselves, our culture, our lineage, and tell us what is important about us while they leave out certain details that would be the most beneficial to us. So you might be asking yourself, what exactly do I mean? I've discussed this before on the channel in previous episodes. All roads lead to Egypt, not Rome, as they would have you believe, okay? So we must come to understand, why is it so important to disconnect us from our culture in Egypt, even renaming it the Middle East, okay? The answer is simple. If we understood and taught our youth from a young age, instilling in them a sense of pride, knowing that they hail from the richest lineage on the planet that is still very widely studied from all cultures to this day, that would cause a problem in the mind programming and control. If we begin to teach our children Black history from its origin, where we originated from in Africa, not in chains, not as slaves, but as the most brilliant minds on earth that are still being studied to this day by every culture except ours, we would be instilling in them a sense of pride in self, in their culture, in others, which would completely deter the plans of those who wish to see us oppressed. That is the reason they teach Black history, specifically in America, from shackles to slavery. Okay? That's why they start there, to keep your mind shackled. This is something that was so poignantly discussed in the book by Carter G. Woodson called The Miseducation of the Negro. Truly a gem of its own. If you haven't read the book, I suggest you read it. He really breaks down the intentional miseducation of Black people by convincing you to always take the back door. They never have to worry about you coming in the front door. They understand that if they control the mind, they control the beings, they control the culture, the optics in which we see things. And as we know, perception is everything. So how you perceive the world is what you will internalize and act out, okay? Kind of like a script. So the idea is to control the minds so they don't have to worry about our actions. They know by controlling our minds, they control our actions as well. They don't have to worry about you ascending to your highest self if your perception is off and your mind has been so tactfully controlled. That way, they never have to worry about you becoming the greatest version of yourself, potentially knocking one of theirs out of the box, okay? If they control your mind, they control your actions. As long as they convince us to glorify the very things that are to our detriment, they don't have to worry about us ascending to our highest selves. As long as we're focused on being a baddie, or glorifying things like boys in the hood, menace to society, and the overall thug life of things, they never have to worry about our potential coming out, us actually becoming what we once were: kings, queens, pharaohs, gods, goddesses, right? They don't need you embodying that behavior. Why do you think when there are movies depicting anything in Africa, they're Black? But as soon as we start discussing Egypt, now all of a sudden they're Arab or white. This just goes to show they've been teaching it all wrong. But we are in the age of information now, so there's no reason for us to keep falling for the same tactics, not doing our own research, and understanding our things for ourselves. We have spent so much of our time on mindless behavior, minding the business of others, minding business that has nothing to do with us, or that serves no purpose in our life, that serves no potentiality in growth for us. As they say, when you know better, you do better. And in the age of information, we know better. So it's time we do better. Our ancestors have done so much more with so much less as it pertains to resources and information and the strides they made for the culture itself. So why can't we do the same? We should have gone leaps and bounds now. The baton has been passed to us, and where have we taken it? To TikTok? Twerking? Having mindless battles about gender, feeding into the narrative of black versus white or black versus everyone or male versus female, mindless behavior. That's the trick of the enemy to get you not to focus on what's truly important in life: progression, growth, and as I like to refer to it, ascension into your highest self. What we should come to understand is we're all meant to grow and evolve into the highest version of ourselves, our highest potential, into our purpose. But that growth has been purposely stunted by those in charge, purposely miseducating not only us, but the entire world about the vast culture and the immense impact of Black culture, knowing that it could have a differing effect on our minds, our egos, certainly our actions, okay? So, what I encourage you to do, family, look deeper just into yourselves. Encourage your children to look deeper. Let's go beyond the narratives that they tell us. Let's go beyond the shackles of slavery where they would like us to believe our starting point is. Let's go beyond the Martin Luther Kings and the Harriet Tubman storylines that they shovel down our throat and research more deeper, understand the culture on a deeper level. Understanding your roots, learning about your ancestry is imperative for your growth. You can't understand the full tree if you don't understand what it's rooted in. Okay? So that is the end of the message, family. I hope you took from this something you can learn and share with other people. I hope you take this as a call to consciousness and a call to action to delve deeper into what we're really made of. As I always say, truth without love is brutality, and love without truth is hypocrisy. As we know, fools multiply when wise men are silent, so we mustn't be silent. We must tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, even when it hurts. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to like, share, and subscribe so we can add more people to our tribe. And until next time, family, peace, y'all. Happy Black History Month.